The courtroom was alive with tension, a quiet hum of whispers vibrating beneath the fluorescent lights as 60-year-old Judge Judy Sheindlin took her seat behind the bench, her sharp eyes slicing through the silence like a scalpel. She wasn't just a judge. She was justice incarnate, known across America for her no-nonsense tone and razor-sharp intellect. The case before her seemed simple on the surface, a car accident, a dispute over fault, but Judge Judy knew that human truth was never simple. Across from her stood two people, strangers bound by a single crash. On the left, Ms. Mellick, anxious, clutching papers, her expression caught between guilt and indignation. On the right, Mr. Filmer, a tall man in his 30s, a motorcycle helmet tucked under his arm, his shoulder still stiff from an injury. The courtroom buzzed as Judy leaned forward and said, "Each of you claims the other is responsible for the accident. Let's get the story straight." Her voice was calm, but every syllable carried the weight of command. Ms. Mellick nodded nervously. "You were driving your car," Judy said. "Yes, Your Honor," she replied. "And you," turning to Filmer, "you were on a motorcycle?" "Yes, ma'am." "You were driving straight," Judy said, glancing at her notes. "And Ms. Mellick here was making a left-hand turn onto Southeast Imlay Avenue. She stopped in the left-hand lane, preparing to turn, and you were coming straight through." Filmer nodded. "Then clearly," Judy continued, "you had the right of way. We all learned that in driver's ed. The person making a left turn yields. No light, no stop sign, right?" "Right," both parties muttered. Judy's eyes narrowed. "So, according to you, Ms. Mellick, he clipped the rear of your car as you turned?" "Yes, ma'am." "He was speeding." "Of course," Judy said dryly. "Nobody's ever at fault in their own story." Laughter rippled through the courtroom. "Mr. Filmer, you hit her car, incorrect?" "Yes, Your Honor, but she turned when the road wasn't clear." "So you're counterclaiming for your injuries?" "Yes, and for the damage to my bike." Judy raised a brow. "All right. Let's settle something simple first. Who had insurance?" Both hesitated. "Raise your hands," she ordered. Slowly, 2 hands went up. "Did either of you submit a claim?" "Yes," Mellick said quickly. "My insurance company found I wasn't at fault." "And mine said I wasn't at fault either," Filmer added. Judy leaned back, half smiling. "Well, that's our problem right there. Both of you are innocent, yet somehow there's a wrecked car and a busted shoulder." "That's some miracle." The courtroom chuckled again. "You were making a left turn and you didn't clear the intersection," Judy continued. "He was coming straight, too fast to stop. So tell me, why are we here instead of leaving this to the insurance companies?" "Because, Your Honor," Mellick began, "there's more to the story. When I made my turn, he wasn't there. He came shooting between 2 cars." Judy arched a brow. "Who cares? You didn't wait until traffic cleared." "But, Your Honor," Mellick protested, "the cars were far enough back, and I have witness statements. Are they here?" "No, but they're on the police report." Judy sighed. "Paper witnesses. My favorite kind." She turned to Filmer. "Were you speeding?" "A little," he admitted. "How much is a little?" "About 5 miles an hour." "Which means 10, Judy shot back. The crowd laughed again. "So you were speeding, weaving between cars, and she was turning left without full clearance. 2 bad decisions colliding. Literally." Bird, her bailiff, grinned. "Makes perfect sense, Judge," Judy smirked. "Thank you, Bird, always the philosopher." She looked back at Filmer. "Tell me about your injuries." "I dislocated my shoulder," he said, rubbing it. "Very painful, I'm sure," Judy said. "Was it worth it?" "No, ma'am. Did you feel responsible?" "No, ma'am." "Oh, really?" Judy tilted her head. "She was turning left, you were weaving through cars, and it was dark out. 9:30 at night." "You didn't see her car turning?" "There were 2 cars ahead of me, Your Honor. I made a legal lane change between them." "A legal lane change?" Judy's sarcasm was palpable. Could a normal car have fit in that space? Filmer hesitated. "Maybe a smart car?" The courtroom erupted in laughter. Judy nodded slowly. "Mr. Smart Car, your counterclaim is dismissed." Filmer looked down. "Yes, ma'am." "You're a little reckless on that motorcycle," Judy continued. "And you know it. Maybe that's why you actually feel a little guilty, "A little, yes, ma'am." "Thought so." Judy turned to Mellick. "And what would have happened if he died instead of just breaking his shoulder?" "That would have been terrible," she whispered. "It would have been tragic," Judy agreed. "But you still turned without confirming the road was clear. You can't predict what another driver might do, but you can control your own patience." Mellick sighed. "He was going too fast. He admitted that, Judy replied. But anticipation, that's part of driving. Just like you expect a child or animal might dart between parked cars, you should have expected the unexpected. That's how accidents don't happen. She asked to see their insurance letters. Both hesitated again. I don't want to hear a voicemail, Judy snapped when Filmer tried to play a message. I want documents. They didn't give me any written report, he said. Then you don't have proof, Judy said simply. But I do have the adjuster's photos. Good. Let's see them. As Bird passed the photos up, Judy studied them. These are consistent with your story, Ms. Mellick. Clipped rear panel. And consistent with yours, Mr. Filmer. Head-on impact from poor reaction time. So, both stories true, both drivers wrong. The courtroom went quiet. How long have you been riding? Judy asked. 3 years. And you were doing 50 in a 40 zone, weaving between cars, right? Yes, ma'am. Were you late for something? Work. So your excuse for risking your life was punctuality. No excuse, Your Honor. Judy smiled faintly. Good answer. She leaned forward, her voice firm but not cruel. You were both careless. She for turning early, you for speeding. That's how most accidents happen. 2 small mistakes colliding in one big mess. Her gaze flicked between them like a metronome of truth. Now, if I were to assign blame, she said, I'd place it primarily on the driver making the left turn. Because, Ms. Mellick, you have to wait until the road is completely clear. But you also, Mr. Filmer, contributed by speeding and weaving. So, you get nothing on your counterclaim. And Ms. Mellick, I'll award you half the damages, $1,400. Her gavel cracked through the room. Case dismissed. As the courtroom emptied, Judge Judy lingered, eyes on the departing litigants, 2 ordinary people whose pride had cost them more than money. You can't legislate common sense, she muttered to Bird, but you can expose it. He chuckled. Another day, another circus. Except this one had a ringmaster, she said with a wink. The camera would have faded out there, but if life had one, it would have stayed on Judy for just a second longer. The faintest flicker of fatigue in her eyes. The weight of years spent reminding people that truth, not ego, wins in her courtroom. Outside, the motorcyclist adjusted his helmet, wincing at his shoulder, while the driver checked her cracked taillight, still convinced she was half right. Above them, gray clouds rolled over the city, indifferent, like justice itself. Judge Judy returned to her chambers, the smell of coffee and paperwork filling the air. She sat down, staring at a small photo of herself decades earlier. A young prosecutor, eyes full of fire. Same battles, different faces, she whispered. The day wasn't about money or insurance or even fault. It was about accountability, that rare, fading currency. She had seen thousands like them. People clinging to not my fault, like a life raft in a storm of reality. But truth always surfaced. It always did. She wrote a few notes, closed her file, and turned off the light. Outside the courthouse, the world moved on, cars speeding, lights changing, mistakes waiting to happen. But for one brief moment in one small courtroom, judgment had been served, fair, unfiltered, and unforgettable.